This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
They didn't just disappear, they were erased. This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski, featuring former prosecutor and defense attorney Eric Faddis.
There's a lot of lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. A lot. There's also a federal investigation going on. A grand jury has already been convened. As of this recording, no charges as of yet. He's an innocent man until proven guilty, if he ever is in fact charged. But one of the new lawsuits against him, I got to say, this seems a little bit more than I've ever seen in terms of a civil judgment that they're asking for. $50 billion is what he's being sued for by a former porn star, and one that alleges that she was sex trafficked at the home of Diddy, including during some of the white parties. The complaint is asking for $50 billion in damages. Joining me to discuss, Eric Faddis, defense attorney, former prosecutor. $50 billion. With a B. That's a lot.
That's up there. That's actually probably the highest just single person lawsuit, for single plaintiff lawsuit damages request that I may have ever seen. We had the NFL Sunday Ticket case where they're suing the NFL, and I think they got something like 4.7 billion, and that was with like dozens, if not hundreds, of plaintiffs. And so the plaintiff's going to have to prove that 50 billion. They're going to have to substantiate that, showing losses and how it has impaired their reputation to that extent. That's going to be a tall order.
I'm guessing she wasn't making $50 billion in porn. I'm thinking that might not have been the paycheck. But regardless of all of that, it's not. I don't want to discount her case, because I think she probably actually has one, considering where she was at the time. We do have evidence that she was involved with Diddy and as a model, or being sex trafficked, really. At those parties, she was there in that circle where a lot of these other allegations came in. Which obviously would be, I would think, traumatic and horrible if you had to live through that, and Diddy was at the helm of what was going on. But does coming in at such a high number really, is that going to hurt her case far more than the others, just because it's like you're coming out of the gate with ridiculous requests here?
It certainly raises some eyebrows, and I honestly don't know the merits of her case. It could be completely legitimate. Mm-hmm. But there's always the risk when a public figure has allegations against them and lawsuits begin to mount. Some people may be motivated to try to get their piece of that, whether they deserve it or not. We see the Michael Jackson cases. There are a number of allegations against him. Donald Trump, when allegations began to sort of accumulate against him, you always got to look with a critical eye as to people coming out of the woodwork to make sure the allegations they're bringing are substantiated. They may very well be, but it's a critical analysis that has to take place.
I get coming in high and then settling down, but what attorney is saying, yeah, this is a great idea to go in at 50 billion?
And totally. And one thing that could do, it can be a non-starter for the plaintiff. Yeah. I do plaintiffs work out in Colorado. And when the defense sees that, they might say, hey, not even within the realm of reason here. I can't even negotiate with you. I can't engage in some good faith exchange to try to resolve this, because you're up in the clouds here at a figure that will just never happen at trial or otherwise.
Yeah, it's quite extreme. To me, it feels like there's already enough against Diddy that this is just kind of not really going to weight the thing down a whole lot more than it already has been. But I don't know that it helps any of the cases either when you have this sort of thing come out. It does kind of make you roll your eyes and makes you go, what? This it feels like a money grab. Without a doubt. But again, I don't necessarily discount that she suffered some things here under the hands of Diddy. But why go in like this?
Yeah, one theory could be that you're setting yourself up for tremendous leverage in the negotiation. If you start at 50 billion, maybe they're hoping they're going to land somewhere at 25 billion. I don't know. But the potential tragedy is that it can make people look with a skeptical eye at this and future claims, because it does seem like they're asking for so much money under this lawsuit.
Would a judge just throw this out immediately with a request like that, not even hearing the case?
Usually not.
Okay.
Usually they will let the case play out and see if the plaintiff can establish the basis for this $50 million request. Certainly the defense is going to push back. And if it did go to trial, there would be jury instructions that could limit how the prosecutor or how the plaintiff can ask for the amount they're seeking and whether they actually have the evidence to make their request.
Could this be a play, though, too, where it's such a ridiculous request, Diddy will probably not settle this one? There's already a lot. Is this trying to open up the gates of, okay, if you're not going to settle, we're going to start getting into discovery and things like that? That's what's helped Diddy so many times. Obviously, he screwed that up when we got into the Cassie case. But, is this one of those where we're going to go super extreme? You're not going to end up settling with us because we're not going to take it. And that's just going to open up floodgates for even more information to go public.
That could be the tactic, but I think Diddy's funds are probably dwindling. They're probably drying up. He's not having any new ventures coming in. He's got all of these claims against him. At some point, if he files for bankruptcy, all of these claimants are going to try to get a piece of that all those funds. And I think this particular plaintiff is trying to set herself up for a larger piece than others might be seeking. Will that be effective? Bankruptcy is usually unsatisfying for everybody, including the claimants. And I'm not sure it's going to turn out how she's hoping it is.
The higher you're requesting, does that equate to a higher percentage than of what you would get in a bankruptcy case in all cases? Or is it more so we're going to divide this out the way the court feels is appropriate?
It's often divided out based on the merits of each claim, but this plaintiff might be posturing for even a possible default judgment. There's a chance that sometimes these defendants don't respond to these lawsuits, and they have so much else going on, or they don't think it has merit, and then the plaintiff gets a default judgment. And if she gets a court order that says anywhere in the neighborhood of billions, that court order could be effective on the bankruptcy distribution to give her a larger cut. And we've seen that play out with other celebrities before who don't answer the lawsuits.
Yeah, where it seems very ridiculous on the surface, but maybe there is a long game at play.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in, and then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.